Hey, what's up guys, Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today is going to be Evil Eye Unchained. Now this deck works really well together. The reason it works is because the Unchained monsters usually lock you into Fiend monsters, while the Evil Eye cards don't lock you into anything, but they still give you a huge punch. So without further ado, let's jump right into the deck. Starting things off, I play 3 copies of Surzeal, Watcher of the Evil Eye. So this card is like literally the best Evil Eye card, next to Evil Eye of Selene. So this card searches your Selene on top of having a quick effect destruction on your opponent's turn of any of their special summon monsters. Now, people say like, oh, Trident is so good because it gives you 1 destruction and you play on your opponent's turn, blah blah blah. Well, this deck does the same thing, but better. Like, it is awesome the way that this deck works. So this card just gives you some generic disruption, just being able to pop your opponent's monsters, on top of the fact that it will gain a lot more attack just off of Selene. So that's really good. This card is definitely really solid. I play 3 copies of Basilisk, Familiar of the Evil Eye. Now, for some reason, people only play 1 copy of Basilisk, and I do not understand that. Basilisk is amazing, because the thing is that almost all your Evil Eye spells actually want to be in the graveyard. The only ones you're actually going to send are Evil Eye of Selene and Evil Eye of Gorgonio. So if you send Selene, this card's basically a searcher for Selene. So like you can use Selene, banish another Evil Eye card from your graveyard, and then set this to your field, which like instantly gains you advantage, because this card's basically a searcher for Selene. And then Gorgonio is another searcher for Selene. Like, you don't even need to worry about anything as long as you can draw into a Basilisk, a Selene, a Surzeal, a Pareidolia, or a Gorgonio. Like, literally you have so many ways of getting into Evil Eye of Selene that it doesn't really matter. But this card just huge consistency boost. I play 3 copies of Unchained Twin Aruha. This card is actually the best card in the Unchained section. This card gives you a special summon, and this card is the best way to get your play started in the Unchained part of the deck. So basically, the way you want to go about this is you want to somehow normal summon Surzeal, use Surzeal to search out a Selene, activate the Selene, and then have Surzeal be indestructible, while then using your Unchained Aruha to further your combo plays, because this card's like, it gives you a free special summon and it pops a card on the field, which some of the Evil Eye cards actually want to be popped too, so that's actually really good. But if you pop one of your Unchained spells or traps, you basically gain instant advantage. And this card's just really good for the archetype, and it's definitely a 3 of. I play 3 copies of Unchained Twins Rika. This card actively just pops cards for free. Like, if you don't draw into a Surzeal, a Unchained Twins Aruha, or an Evil Eye Domain, literally this card also gives you like a bunch of free pluses. This card's solid. I played 1 copy of Unchained Twin Sarama. I was running this at 2, but I decided to cut one of them for an Ash Blossom, which I'll explain in a second. This card's actually just really good. You don't really want to hard draw into it because you need your normal summon to play it, but really this card's just really good with in tandem with Unchained Twins Aruha, which is like, there's actually a full combo play you can do there. I played 2 copies of Abominable Unchained Soul. This card's one of your main cards you special summon off of your Unchained cards getting destroyed, on top of the fact that it in itself has a special summon effect, which is really good, and it's a great way of getting a free pop, which is really good. Plus, it's as if this card is special summon, so you could actually special summon during your opponent's turn with cards like Unchained Twins Rika, which then you can get a quick effect pop on your opponent's field, on top of the fact that you can set up plays for next turn to get like some one of your Unchained Souls, which is really good. Speaking of which, I play 1 copy of Unchained Soul of Disaster. So the reason I play 1 copy of this and 2 copies of this, because most people will play 2 copies of both, is because this one doesn't have a special summon effect. You hurt yourself a lot more if you hard draw into this, because you can't do anything with this card in your hand. So one of the ways you get around this is just playing 1 copies and popping your Unchained cards to go directly into it from the deck, which is actually really good because that gives you another target to link summon with, because you can use your opponent's cards. Because like the best way to set up disruption in this deck is by popping with Surzeal and by linking away your opponent's monsters with your Unchained Souls. So just setting this up is actually pretty good. And then I'll play 3 copies of Ash for the final monster, just some generic hand traps, because the thing is that this deck it's good going second, but it's not the best going second, and the problem is that you want to slow down your opponent a bit, just so that they can't pop off as well. But like, I feel like there should be a better hand trap to stop the meta right now than Ash, but I can't think of any that's that generic that works against every deck. I played 3 copies of Abomination's Prison. So this card's really, really good. It searches your Unchained cards. On top of the fact that this is really important, you can just set it and then use Unchained Twins Aruha to pop it. Like, because a lot of the times what'll happen is I'll draw into all my combo pieces and I'll draw into an Abomination's Prison, which I don't need. And then I'm able to just set this card, which is a generic searcher, and just pop it really easily, and that's really good. On top of the fact that this deck is like immune to all destruction floodgates, because if they like try to use Lightning Storm on your back row, you basically gain like a crap ton of advantage. Like, it's crazy. I played 3 copies of Evil Eye Domain Pareidolia. So this card's actually really good. It searches an Evil Eye monster on activation, then it keeps your, if you have Evil Eye of Selene, you can make your opponent take all the battle damage you would take as well. So it just evens out battles. So that's actually really, really good. On top of the fact that when it's destroyed, you can add to your hand 1 Evil Eye monster. So that's why this works so well, because a lot of your Evil Eye spells and traps actually have effects in the grave. So like, you could pop your Evil Eye Pareidolia with Aruha and then be able to get back like an Evil Eye of Selene, or Surzeal, then search an Evil Eye of Selene, which is really, really good. I played 3 copies of Evil Eye of Selene. This card is just amazing. It's like a god tier card. It makes your cards immune to battle. It makes them immune to card effects. It makes them untargetable, and they gain 500 attack every time you activate an Evil Eye spell or trap, which, even though you don't play as many Evil Eye spells and traps in this deck as you do in pure Evil Eye, you still have enough and are able to search enough of them in order to pop off really well. Like, one time I set up a 3 Selene, and every time I activated a spell card, my Surzeal would get like maybe like 1500 attack, and I think I had a Gorgonio. But then at that point, I was like, I got my Surzeal up to 11,000 attack, which is crazy for this deck, on top of the fact that I had a disruption through an Unchained Soul of Rage, which was really good. I played 2 copies of Gorgonio. This card's really good in this deck, just because of how many life points you pay to use Selene. But on top of that, this card is actually another searcher for Selene, because you can add an Evil Eye spell or trap by banishing this card and discarding an Evil Eye spell or trap. So this is a great way of unclogging your hand and getting another Selene search, which is really good, which is why I play 3 copies of Basilisk. Like, seriously, I don't know why people are so apprehensive in playing Basilisk. I played 2 copies of Evil Eye Awakening. I decided to cut this down from 3 to 2 because you want to draw into your Selene if you're going to activate any of your spells and traps. So keep that in mind. Plus, like, there weren't really any super good targets for this other than Surzeal and Basilisk. So really, you just have this to buff your Evil Eye of Selene because it's the best one for instant gratification. I played 3 copies of Evil Eye Remergence. This card's really good just because, one, if you hard draw into it, it's still going to be super good because you don't need Selene in order to go into your monsters. On top of the fact that you can get 2 monsters on the field, which can in turn set up some really good plays with Evil Eye cards. Like if you just get another one on the field, you can use Surzeal, and this card's just amazing. I played 1 copy of Evil Eye Confrontation. Normally I'd play 2 copies of this, but I decided to play 1 because it's searchable and because I just didn't want to play more than 1 because I really wanted to play Ash. I played 3 copies of Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. So this card's really good just because if you can pop it, you get a free special summon from the deck, which is really good. That's how Unchained like gets off really well because like you can use Aruha, special summon it, pop this, special summon a Rika, use Rika to pop the Aruha, special summon a Soul of Disaster, then use the 2 monsters you had to go into, one monster your opponent has and your Soul of Disaster to go into Soul of Rage. Then you set up a disruption on your opponent's turn, which is amazing. And then 2 copies of Escape from the Unchained. This card's also really good for this deck just because you can, it gives you another special summon. Like this one special summons from the hand or graveyard, which I guess comes up a little bit. And then this one special summons this one just pops 1 monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls. So it actually sets up disruption on top of the fact that it gains you advantage, which is really good. Going into the extra deck, I played 3 copies of Unchained Soul of Rage. Really, you only play these 2 Unchained cards just so that you can get quick effect links, which is really, really good. Like, it's pretty easy to get it off in this deck, too. So 3 copies of this, mandatory. 3 copies of Unchained Soul of Anguish, because this card gets you directly into any of your Link 4s, and it can get you, like, a crazy access code. I played 2 copies of Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. This card's pretty good, although I think Surzeal is a bit better in terms of summoning. But this card actually does gain a bit of advantage for Evil Eye cards in the graveyard, which is pretty good. You basically get a negation. You can target an effect monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. That's pretty good. Plus it's a quick effect, so you can basically just stop them. Plus it doesn't have to be like face up on their field, so it could be like graveyard and stuff, which is pretty good. Plus, again, the attack gain is decent, but you aren't really going to want to go into this. You're going to want to go into the big boy, Surzeal, ruler of the Evil Eye. So, if this card's link summon using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as material, it can make a second attack during the battle phase. Really good. Plus, it doesn't have any attack restrictions, so you can swing into your opponent's monster, then just OTK them really easily. You can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it on a quick effect. Then its secondary effect is once per turn during the standby phase after the effect was activated, negate the effects of 1 card this points to. So if you don't have any cards, you can't really do that, so it doesn't really matter. That's actually pretty good. But one time I pulled off this crazy combo where I had Surzeal with 2 Evil Eye of Selene on it, and then I had 1 Surzeal with 1 Evil Eye of Selene on it. So what I did was I used Surzeal to destroy an opponent's monster, and then I used Surzeal to destroy another one of my opponent's monsters. But what was crazy was that I then, during my standby phase, I used Surzeal's effect to negate Surzeal's effect to negate Surzeal. So that way I didn't have to destroy a card because I didn't really have any extra cards that I could destroy that turn. So really, like, I just stuck myself in a perfect position to where I just had the best place, like, in general. Like, it was amazing. I played one copy of Unchained Abomination. This card's actually just really good because it can just give you pops, but you don't really want to play more than one copy of it because it's not very useful. One copy of Access Code. This card is like a godsend for this deck. You can use an Unchained Soul of Anguish and one of your opponent's cards to go straight into an Access Code because it's a dark. That'd be weird if they made it a a wind monster or something. Like, that would have really hurt this deck, but like, since they made it a dark, it's really, really good because you can just target Anguish, banish, or then you get 5,300 attack, on top of the fact that you're always going to have at least 2 link monsters in your graveyard to banish off of access code for free pops, because you're always going to use Unchained Soul of Rage to go into Unchained Soul of Anguish, so that's really, really good. I played one copy of Avermax. Like, this card's just generic, but I decided to play it. I played one copy of Topologic Bomber Dragon. This card is good for nuking the field, because if you nuke the field, then you get to destroy your Unchained monsters, which is a great way to get your effects off, which is really, really good. And then I played one copy of Dante because of how many cards this deck plays. That's level 3. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you would change about the deck. Would you change up the Unchained lineup? Would you cut Basilisk to 1 despite how dumb that is? Would you change up the spell lineup? Would you cut out the hand traps? And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.